Do you want to learn how to make a better gelato in your home kitchen?
Well, today on WTF, we're going to look at perfect gelato and how to make mascarpone gelato and tiramisu sundae. Hello and welcome to WTF, where we transform food here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen. I'm Chef Scott Garin.
And I'm Janie Wang, one of the owners of Modernist Pantry. And here on WTF, every week we cover unique ingredients, techniques, do recipes, demos, and show you something fun that you can make in your own kitchen. So remember, subscribe and ring the bell, and you'll get notified of our content. It comes out on Tuesdays. And this week we're going to be finishing up our frozen treats series with a perfect gelato. If you want to read all about or watch all about perfect ice cream and sorbet, links in the description below. But gelato is kind of a fun thing. It's my personal favorite frozen treat, so I'm excited to kind of learn more about how perfect gelato is going to help whatever gelato you're making so much better. Mm-hmm. And Scott, since we already did the other two, can you start off with a little bit about, like how is perfect gelato, why can't I say gelato? Gelato different from perfect ice cream or sorbet?
So there's actually one ingredient in perfect gelato that sets it apart from the other two, and that's locust bean gum. Mm-hmm. So locust bean gum is going to help you give you that dense texture that you get from a gelato. Usually with ice cream you have like an airier texture to the ice cream. That's called overrun, right? Okay. So there's a lot of added air to the ice cream. With the perfect gelato, it stops that. The locust bean gum just stops all that air incorporation, so you have that really dense kind of creamy texture. Mm-hmm. So we're actually going to show you how to make like a very simple base for a mascarpone gelato here, and just talk your way through it. So, all right, very simply, I just have my sugar, and I have my perfect gelato, so I'm going to add it in here. And as we were saying before, right, gelatos and ice creams are different. Gelato isn't just Italian ice cream, mm-hmm. right? So what really makes it different is that it has a lower fat content than like an American ice cream or something like that. Okay. So I'm going to add this in after I add my milk. So just put my milk into my pan, and this is just whole milk. So there's no cream in this recipe. Granted, it does have mascarpone that's added at the end, but really the base that I'm making right now is all with whole milk. And then I have my sugar, my salt, and my perfect gelato. I'm just going to mix that in. So really this is the base, and then I'm going to add whatever it is to it after, which is my mascarpone. Okay.
And one of the things about gelato is that people don't often make it at home, right? Mm-hmm. But with perfect gelato, like this can go into a home ice cream machine. You don't need like some special setup for it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The perfect gelato works so well. So actually the ice cream that we have here is made in a home ice cream machine. We actually had two different types. We had one where you place the vat into the freezer and freeze it that way, and then we have one with a condenser, and we tried it that way, and they mm-hmm. both worked out great because the perfect gelato works so well. Not only does it give it that rich creamy texture, it coats the ice crystals just like the other two, perfect sorbet and perfect ice cream.
Wonderful.
So yeah, it works really well that way. So I'm just going to bring this up to a simmer. At that point I know that it's completely activated, my mm-hmm. perfect gelato. And the perfect gelato works in a ratio between 0.15 and 0.75%. So it can jump a little bit, right? And I like to keep it at the lower end. Mm-hmm. Unless you're doing something that contains a very small amount of fat. Usually that fat's going to help with the texture, okay. But if you're using a very, very small amount of fat, you can increase the amount of perfect gelato to kind of compensate for that, okay. And make it like a rich, creamy gelato without having to add so much fat. But this one is about 1.5% to the total weight of the recipe itself. So the entire weight of the recipe, and then you figure out what 1.5% is. Oh, I'm sorry. 0.15. Don't do.
I was about to say. I
was
like, wait a minute. Didn't you just say 0.75?
yeah. 0.15. So yeah, I'm just going to bring
Huge
this up
difference.
to a simmer. Mm-hmm. So very simply, once this is done, I'm going to let it cool down a little bit and then add in my mascarpone. It's going to take a little bit to completely melt in there because I don't want to heat it up too fast, because then any of the fat in the mascarpone will separate and it can give this weird mealy kind of texture to the finished product.
Okay.
So what we're doing with that is two different things, though. So we made perfect gelato, or a perfect gelato, that is a mascarpone gelato. And we wanted to do like a tiramisu take on it in two different ways. So we have a sundae here. Ooh. And on that sundae, we actually made a little emulsion. So this is an emulsion that we made using an ingredient called 210S. And you can see on our Instagram we made this entire recipe, and we did it in the push pops as well. So this has glucose syrup, so glucose DE42, which is a very low sweet, it is a very mildly sweet sugar. So it's not like table sugar where it's sweet up front. It's very mild. So what we did here is we added a little bit of Marsala wine, we added vanilla bean, and then we added butter. So we made an emulsion of butter and that syrup, so we can have this really beautiful syrup that we're going to put over the top. Because one of the best parts of tiramisu is kind of the variation in sweet and savory and a little bit of bitter. So I'm just going to put this over just as my, kind of like my syrup on my ice cream.
Cool.
I like a lot of it, so. And it's not too sweet, so you have the sweetness from the gelato. And then we have a little bit of ladyfingers that I just soaked in some coffee, right?
That looks so good already.
It's gonna look better in a second.
Okay.
So let me put this up here. Great. And then, this is very simple. This is just chocolate, and you melt it down, and then you add 50% more of just cooking oil, so a neutral flavored oil. And what I do is after that, I take it, and it almost makes that, like that chocolate shell that you would get at a ice cream stand. So as I put it over the cold ice cream, it's going to set the chocolate immediately, but at room temperature, this will stay liquid.
Ooh.
So it's really cool and makes like a really nice little sundae. And we did the same with these push pops, right? So with these push pops, I'm actually just going to add them my mascarpone right now.
Okay.
I'll put that in. So once it's heated up, I just let it cool down a little bit. I'm just going to stir in my mascarpone. This takes a little bit of time. It's very simple. And once this is done, then you can just take it, cool it down. You don't want to put anything hot into an ice cream maker,
Right.
even if it has a condenser in it. It's just going to make it overwork. And the slower something freezes, the bigger the ice crystals can potentially be.
Okay.
So the colder it starts out, the less time it takes to freeze. So even with like the perfect gelato, you want to give it its best chance, right? We don't want to pour it in there boiling hot and kind of overwork the machine.
Right.
Right. So put that in there. That's going to start going. But we took all these components and we layered them in these little push pop molds, right? So there's
fun.
ladyfingers that are soaked in coffee, and then we have our emulsion here, or our Marsala emulsion. And then our ice cream, we did 2 layers of that all the way through. So you get the layers just like a tiramisu. And then on top, we dunked it in the chocolate, and we got that kind of nice dribble over the side.
I know. This looks so fun. Like you can totally have that in a little cafe or bistro. Oh, it'd be so great in the summer.
Or if you wanted to, you could switch out any of the flavors. Like those are super cool and super easy to use, right? You could make a strawberry shortcake one or a raspberry shortcake one using our sorbet recipe, something like that, right? So
Oh my
really
God.
easy to do.
Like a blueberry pie one.
Right? Now the ideas are coming
I know,
out. When
possibilities
we're filming
are
the
endless.
episode is when the ideas come out, right? So yeah, so mixing this in. You don't have to see it all the way through, but it's very simple. Just make sure that it's cooled down a little bit, probably about 150 degrees before we add in the
Some of this
mascarpone.
ice cream. It looks so good.
Yes, eat that ice cream, and as you can see, the chocolate is set on the outside.
I know.
So you get a little bit of texture from that chocolate, but it melts right away. But yeah, it's pretty simple, and it's a
that's
really
really
great
good.
way to make 2 different things. It tastes very much like tiramisu.
It does.
But
I
it's
like
nice
that
and
it has
cool.
that little bit of bitter.
Yep.
So it's not like overwhelmingly sweet at all. That's super nice.
Great. Yeah, so that's about it.
Okay, so the nice thing about, Perfect Gelato and all the other frozen treat ingredients is that they're really, really easy to use. So you don't need to change your recipe. You don't need to, like rework something that you're already happy with. You're just adding this in at a really, really small amount, and it's just going to make what you're making better. So definitely give it a shot. And if you try any of our recipes, links are always in the description below. You can watch the video coming out in a few days of Scott making this from start to finish. But if you have any questions, any comments, leave them. We will get to all of them and review them and get back to you.
Yep.
So from here in the Modernist Pantry Test Kitchen, I'm Janie Wang.
And I'm Scott Garrett. Thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't already, like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you get notified when we drop a new video.
To get today's recipes and all of our recipes, remember to go to blog.modernistpantry.com, where you get recipes, ask a chefs, tips and tricks, and more.
And if you haven't already, tell a friend so they know what's going on here at WTF.
And as always, to get any of the ingredients you saw today, you can go to modernistpantry.com to shop.
And until next time, we'll be here in the test kitchen helping you create memorable and magical experiences.